Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Greater Life, Greater Impact. I'm Janet. I'm a quantum healing practitioner. And what I do for a living is I help take people to the uncharted waters of who they really are for healing, for spiritual and personal transformation, as well as for personal growth, learning to connect, learning to tap into your inner identity, your eternal identity. So if that's something that you're interested in and you need help with, I also do private mentoring on the side, and you can reach out to me privately. Also, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started on our topic today. If you're going to be watching this video as the replay over inside of YouTube later, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And then also, if you get a minute, drop your comments of how this class went for you. What were your takeaways? What did you get out of it? Drop that into the comments underneath the video on YouTube so that more people can get exposure to this learning so that it can help others as well. Today, actually, before we start, I want to put out my disclaimer like I always like to do. Sorry, I gotta let people into the meeting. My disclaimer is go get your own truth. Don't buy into a word of things that I say. This is my opinions, my perspective, my learning. If it aligns with your perspective and your learning, that's awesome. But you know what? Not all of it will. And that's okay, because we have the right to be on our own personal journey. We have that right to pursue truth. So please take whatever you get out of these classes, go take it to God, get your own truth, and figure this out for yourself. That's my disclaimer. I am not your guru. I am not your source of absolute truth. God is. Today we're talking all about neutrality, the art of neutrality. And I do believe that learning how to be someone who can operate in a space of neutrality is an art. It does take a lot of practice. But I do feel like it's important. And so as we're embarking in our sovereignty series this year, this year is all about learning to become more of a sovereign being. This is episode 8 in our sovereignty series. I'm really hoping that we can have discussions all year long about what it means to be autonomous and sovereign, both spiritually and emotionally, mentally, physically, as human beings. I think that it's important that we really start to question what it means to be a human on this planet. And that is the reason, that's really what sparked and inspired my desire to talk about sovereignty this year. Next year, I think our focus is going to be the natural progression is once a human being learns to become sovereign in their life, now you're ready to step into expanded higher levels of love, because you're a much more wise steward of your own free will and agency. And you're going to discover that as we progress into some of these, like these classes are going to build on one another, and we're going to progress in our, not just our understanding of sovereignty, but our opportunities to operate in it. So today I want to share with you, I do feel that sovereign beings know how to operate in the divine realm of neutrality. When I think about people in my life that I witness and that I observe from time to time who seem to be very sovereign in their lives, they go with the flow. They're not overly in a hurry about things. They're not in freak out mode. They don't go into panic over what's happening in the world or what's happening in their lives. They can operate pretty well from a place of just intuition, exercising their free will. Again, like they don't go into anxiety and freak out mode. And I think, like, could there be a more important attribute or skill to develop in our lives than that, especially right now as we're looking down the barrel at a world that is being overly manipulated, overly mind controlled with using tactics of fear and control. mind control, manipulation, coercion, all of those things. And that can be really scary to people. But if you can develop your ability to be a more sovereign human on the planet, it's going to get you through these things that these quandaries that we find ourselves in, especially when you watch the news or even don't watch the news. There's just a lot going on in the world right now, and that can be unsettling. So today, we are going to actually go in and do some inner work today, but I want to share with you before we jump into that 8 different things that I've come up with personally that I think can really help us to acquire a state or a sense of neutrality in our efforts to be more sovereign as human beings. If you come up with more on your own, if you think of other additional ideas, I highly recommend and encourage you guys to unmute yourselves, drop something into the chat box, share with us what some of your thoughts and feelings and ideas and learnings are in regards to this. But I'm going to share with you my top 8 that I came up with this morning as I was sitting here pondering. Step number 1 in your pursuit back to finding your way back to neutrality is slow down. Slow down. And can you feel the energy shift when I just start talking slower? So what I would love for you to do right now is just take your conscious awareness and your attention and go within, go inside of your own body and just slow your breathing down, slow your thinking down. Go into that slow energy. You'll notice that the deeper inside of yourself you go, the more slow that you slow down your thinking and the breathing and all of that, the more peaceful it is in there. So I'm going to invite you to take your attention and drop down to the base of the spine. This is a connecting point. It's a connecting point to your higher self. It's a connecting point to higher levels of consciousness. It's one of my favorite connecting points. There are many. It's not an absolute. There are many, but this is one of my favorites, and I just invite you to go there. Excuse me. So that's step number 1 is slow down, get into that slow energy. What I've found in my life is that as you move, as you take your awareness and you go within and connect with higher levels of yourself, higher levels of consciousness through your higher self, that part of you is deep within you. And you can't get there through your brain. You can only get there by putting awareness within you, slowing down the breath, slowing down the thinking, the talking, the moving. You'll notice that as you slow down even your movements. We've done this before, but have you noticed that if you take the time to raise your arm above your head and it took you an hour or all day for your arm to get from here to here, that's slow movement. And what it does for you when you really make those movements super slow, like move your arm or move your body really, really slow, it brings you into the present moment. It makes you very aware. It makes you very body aware, but also very self-aware. That's what slowing down does. It connects you. It brings you into the now. So that is step number 1, as far as I'm concerned. I think slowing down also helps you to expand your view a little bit of life. When you go within, slow everything down, now you're tapping into eternal identity, not your brain's identity, not your ego, but you're tapping into deeper levels of the infinite self. Okay, step number 2 is cut negativity out of your life to as much as you possibly can, even if that means your mom or your best friend or people in your life who have a tendency to complain a lot, be negative a lot, talk about the news a lot, talking about things that bring you down or weigh you down. Be willing to cut some of that stuff out of your life. It doesn't mean you don't ever have to talk to them again. It just means that it just means that you're willing to cut back, right? Alicia says, these sessions are so insightful. You give us so much light with these. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Actually, you know, I don't know that it's just me. I think that it's the fact that we're all willing to come together and talk together and share together and be together in a like-minded space. I think there's an element of that that contributes to this. And so those of you guys who watch the replays too of this, you're going to get the benefits as well. But thank you for saying that. And thank you for being here, because I actually feel the same way towards you, towards all of you guys that are on here contributing to the higher level of consciousness and raising our vibration together. This is not about me. I am not the guru. I'm here to help facilitate, for sure, an experience that we all can have like-minded as we move into this era of the golden age, as they call it. This is how it's done, in these tiny little settings like this, where like minds can come together. We don't always have to agree. My truth doesn't have to be your truth, but we can definitely come from a place of love and understanding and compassion. And that's the community that I want to hang out in. And that's exactly what I feel when I get together with you guys every Tuesday. It's why I keep coming back. It's why I think some of you guys keep coming back. Okay, so step number 2 was cutting negativity out of your life. The news can be an absolute nightmare and a disaster because it has a tendency to make you sad, and it's scary. It's scary to watch what's going on in the world right now. I mean, I could list a dozen things that are going on in the world right now that where you look at it and you're thinking, is this really happening? Because it feels so surreal to look out into my world and go, why is the world burning down? Why are all the chickens dying? Why are eggs the cost of diamonds? Why are all these things happening? It's good to be aware. It's good to have awareness. It's good to educate yourself. It's good to learn what's happening in your world and your environment so that you can know how you're going to choose to move forward. But if watching the news and talking to people about these things is scary and depressing and it makes you sad, you should probably cut back on those things and focus more on step 3, which is make it a daily habit to start practicing how to find ways to calm yourself. And what I've found personally is I work with people and I mentor with people one-on-one, just being centered. Just go inside and be centered. It's one of the most powerful ways that you can calm your energy, calm the vibration down to the degree that you can think clearly and you can navigate through your life, even regardless of the fact that bombs are going off all around you. You're walking through this big minefield, but you can still intentionally put yourself into a state where it is what it is and I'm okay. So that is step 3. Make it a daily practice, a daily habit to find ways and use tools to calm yourself, to go inside, connect with your higher self, and recognize and realize, okay, I'm an infinite being. Just because I'm afraid of death doesn't mean death is even real. Infinite eternal beings go on into other dimensions and other states of consciousness and in other corridors, moving into other places of reality. And so you don't just cease to exist when you die. So in that respect, there is no such thing as death. And if there is no such thing as death, and as an infinite being, you can't lose anything, you can't run out of time, you can't die, and nothing can be taken from you, then what do you have to worry about?
Janet, what are your daily calming habits that you use?
I love that question. Actually, I'm going to pose that question to everybody on here. If you want to type that into the chat or just unmute, thank you for unmuting and thank you for contributing. I really, really appreciate that you do that, Toby Lynn, because I love getting the additional perspectives from you guys. what I do is I get centered. And I think that because I've been doing this work, I'm a quantum healer, and because I've been doing this work and doing my own inner work for so long now, that I think that is my default, is to be within. I come from that place instead of, I used to come from this place up here. I used to come from an egoic place. But now I think I've trained myself by just spending a little bit of time every day to go within, do your meditation, commune with your higher self, commune with God. So that's really one. I'm going to share with you a couple of additional tools that maybe you can use. Anybody else have? And Charlotte says Ho'oponopono. Yes, which is basically love, forgiveness, repentance, and gratitude. That's those four energies. And so when you step into the energies of, I love you, I'm sorry for what's going on inside of me that's out of love, please forgive me, thank you. And when you embrace and envelop and let those energies really grow within you, it can bring you back to a state of stability. I think I missed one. Hold on. We have Anne. Anne is on here and says, I'm reminded where two or more are gathered, we are powerful together. Yes, I agree. I do agree with that. I think this is how the golden age is going to expand and grow, is that as we have these little groups where people really truly just honor and respect and love each other, and we don't necessarily agree with each other, but there's room for love. I think that's how the golden age is going to grow, and it has to start somewhere. So for me, that's my passion. That's my purpose. Alicia says breath work helps me sometimes. Yes, we're going to get into some breath work today. Excuse me, I'm coming off of a cold. So we are going to get into some tools today to help you intentionally put yourself into a state of neutrality, regardless of what's going on in your external world, so that you can use those tools to really help you get through just about anything. If you can calm yourself, if you can connect to your higher self and to God, you can get through anything. And we are going to be going through some things. Anne, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share that I've been pondering this over the last few days, that everything that's occurring in our world right now, on an individual basis and on a collective basis, it's almost like the whole universe is behind us saying, you have to go within. That's where the answers lie. So if you think about COVID, if you think about the chaos, if you think about illnesses we're all experiencing, things that have happened to me personally, that it's like, slow down, stop, go within. You're not going to find the answers out there. It's all within. So right. I think sometimes when we look at all those things that are happening as negative and, we gripe about it, it's, if we could just change our perspective and go, what is the gift here? And I know we hear that all the time, but what is the gift here? And truly, the whole universe is behind us saying, go within, go within, go within. So thank you for what you're presenting today.
Thank you for contributing in such a powerful way like you do. I appreciate that. I agree with you. I think the universe is inviting us to draw on deeper levels of self-awareness, because, well, we're going to get more into this in just a little bit, but your self-awareness is the foundation upon which you build your connection with God. And I agree with what Anne said in regards to, rather than focusing on the fear and the scariness and the negativity of what's happening in our external world, there's a lot of things that are troubling but confusing in our world. And what they're trying to do is to scare you, to dumb down your energy and dumb down your frequency so that they can control. And if we resist that by refusing to be dumbed down, by allowing ourselves to go within, to seek higher levels of our own conscious awareness of who we are and where we're going and where we've come from. Man, what that does is it creates a whole different paradigm, a whole different world that we live in. Somebody described it really well online. I was listening to a podcast just the other day, and the guy was saying how right now what's happening in the world is that there's this big split that's taking place. And those who are, who their energy is being manipulated and controlled by the narrative, they're sort of going down into this lower vibrational energy, and they're having very specific experience with that. But then there are other people in the world that are choosing to expand their consciousness, to go within, to find higher levels of truth and higher levels of themselves and just awaken to a new level of consciousness and a new reality. It's like they're living in a completely different world, almost like a bubble that's different than this world over here. And I do believe we have the power to do that, to change our reality, to change the world that we live in by changing our level of consciousness. And it's going to get to the point, to the degree that we'll have a very difficult time noticing or even connecting to those who are choosing to opt in to lower levels of vibration. It will literally be like there's two separate worlds happening here simultaneously at the same time. And those who are choosing to opt in and buy into the fear mode paradigm, they're going to have a very different experience than those who are choosing to expand their consciousness, raise their frequency, and elevate into higher levels of love and peace and joy and bliss and forgiveness and gratitude. All of those energies, those who dwell in those energies are going to have a very different experience as we come into the golden age. And I do believe that we're being invited as humans to up-level, to upgrade, to step into higher levels of love and consciousness. And Charlotte says, realizing I can create calm in the worst and busiest situations. I also like square breathing with tongue on roof. We're doing that today. So thank you for bringing that up. We are going to do some of that. Box breathing. David's iPhone says, daily meditation makes a world of difference in my life. The time that you give to this is multiplied many times in the place, in peace and energy that we have to give our day. Yes, I agree with that. Thank you for sharing that. Pammy, did you have something?
Yes, and you may have covered it a little bit, but I kind of need a little bit more clarity of the difference between going within. I know how that is, but dumbing down. I didn't quite understand that. Could you explain what the difference is in dumbing down to going within?
Well, I did use the term dumbing down. I think that we have in our world, in our external world, we do have people that are posing as authoritarian voices who want to dumb down or dull down the vibrational frequency. And so what happens is when you operate at a lower level of frequency in lower level emotions, unhealthy limiting beliefs, fear, and trauma energy, and when you operate in those lower vibrational frequencies, it does dumb us down to some degree, because people who operate in those energies have a hard time. No, it's not a hard time. It's impossible. It's impossible to comprehend what others are comprehending clear up in love and joy and bliss and peace and gratitude and sovereignty, right? When you have learned to overcome the lower level emotions and you raise your consciousness, like what Anne said, by going within, tapping into those higher levels of your being and higher levels of higher vibrations of love and joy and bliss, the feelings inside of you that feel good, it expands your conscious awareness. It makes you more intelligent. You comprehend things that people who are operating down in shame and fear and lack cannot comprehend unless they choose to level up and overcome the lower level emotions and rise into those higher vibrations, if that makes sense. So when I say dumbing down, I'm talking about people in the world who are trying to scare you into their paradigm and to get you to buy into what they want you to do through fear. Carla, did you have a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was going to say, could it be not scaring you, but manipulating you into
sure. Yeah,
is also.
it's both.
Okay.
And the tactic that is often used is fear, because what that does is it takes you down into lower levels of vibration so that you cannot see what you could see if you were up in love and joy and bliss and ecstasy. Carla,
Okay. Thank you so much, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
So what it feels like for me, when I go to work at this spa, there's a lot of, it's ran from a place of fear versus love and connection. And so it's more chaos, more confusion, more dissociation. There's no trust and there's no safety emotionally. And so it's like, oh, I just want to run.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there. I want to run from that place because it is being ran from a place of fear, and it's just chaotic. There's no connection. There's no team together. Everyone achieves more. Not even there.
Yeah. Yeah. And lots of people are experiencing that in the world right now because the world has been conditioned to buy into that system for a long time. But what we're seeing now is, in fact, I'm going to pose the question to you. What is the solution to those little microsystems of cultures and communities that run based on fear? What is the solution?
What I find myself having to do is stop, ground and connect, and just look at the person and just say, okay, I'm just going to send you love because I see that you're in that space that I don't want to be in. And so I'm going to choose to be in the space I want to be in, which is love and light. So I'm going to hold that intention for myself to bring more of that in and leave you in your space to let you figure it out.
Yeah.
Because even if I say anything to you, to that person, they're not going to get it. They're just going to come up with more rude comments to drag you down.
Yeah. And that brings us back to the levels of consciousness again. So people who are down in fear and shame and lack and guilt, any of those lower energies, they cannot comprehend.
Nope.
But people in bliss and ecstasy and love and forgiveness and gratitude are comprehending because they're not in the same vibration. And so you're right. The only way to help them to comprehend what you see is to bring them into the energy, the vibration of love.
Yeah, and just let them sit there with it to decide which one they're going to feed.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Toby Lynn, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
One of the things that I see that's going on in the world is addictions are coming to the surface, whether it be sugar addictions, porn addictions, all different types of work addictions, sport addictions, whatever addiction it is, addictions is coming to the surface.
Yeah.
And how people are in addictions act is all fear-based, shame-based, manipulation. There's a lot of behaviors that I see happening. One of the things that I've noticed through going through the drug addiction with my son is the Lord's asking me to love and serve on his level, not the world's level. The world's level is saying, shun them, push them away, get rid of them. And the Lord is saying, love the way I love. Don't try and fix them. don't try and do anything. It's their journey. And what I've learned is I've learned more on this journey about myself and about how conditional or self-righteous I've been behaving than how God wants me to love and to serve in Christ-like ways, serve in higher vibrational ways, and be a better person. I've been learning so much about myself that it's like, wow, I didn't realize that I thought that way, or I didn't realize I was so conditioned by the world to treat them the way the world expects us to treat them, which means push them away, get away from them, judge them, all that kind of stuff. I'm really surprised at how, and I'm blessed because the Lord has helped me to understand his way of service, his way of love, and being in my sovereign place at the same times where miracles can happen. And miracles do happen. My son has been clean now for 2.5 months because I've loved him and said he wasn't the problem, that I see that I had a huge part in all of this, and that I was judging him and condemning him and judging him by his behaviors instead of saying, hey, just a minute, your behaviors are helping me to learn to love differently. Your behaviors are helping me to be more Christ-centered. So it is a very interesting paradigm we're living in.
It is. And those things can act as a definite catalyst for our growth and our learning and overcoming. So I appreciate that you brought that out. Katie says, talks about groupthink. Yes, we did talk about that. Great explanation, Janet. I try to explain this on the daily, and many don't even understand that they have the opportunity to break free from that. Yeah, they don't understand because a person who's operating at the lowest levels of consciousness cannot comprehend what others may be comprehending at higher expanded states of consciousness. And it's not that anybody's better than anybody else. It's just all of us have the opportunity to step into higher levels of consciousness just simply by changing the state that we choose to vibrate at. Carla, go ahead.
Oh, I'll wait for Anne and then I'll go.
Oh.
She had a question first.
Actually, all I wanted to say when Toby Lynn was saying that things are coming to the surface, addictions, I'm finding with myself, with everyone, truth is surfacing, and you can't deny it, can't push it away. There was a time when we could sweep things under the rug because we were fearful of dealing with it, but truth at every level for everyone is surfacing. And that's why I think there's a lot of struggle right now, because we have to face it, we have to move through it and just move forward.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. Carla and then Toby Lynn.
I was just going to say the most difficult addiction to overcome is the addiction to your own internal pharmacy releases.
Yeah.
People who like to cause chaos, they're causing it because they're addicted to their own internal pharmacy release.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people can easily get sucked in and addicted to chaos, or addicted to sadness, or addicted to those lower energy, because in their mind, it's the only way that they can, they're trying to fill that void, right? That can only be filled with self-love, but they don't know it. And so there just has to be a level of learning.
Yeah.
Toby Lynn, did you have something additional?
I appreciate you saying, I think it's Kathy that said it, about addiction to your internal chemistry. I think it's very interesting that as we become different creatures, our internal chemistry has to change. The question that I started with as I raised my hand, and I wanted to ask you, Janet, what you thought about this, is it seems that the great gap in between truth and lie is closed, and those with addictions and those with living higher standard, the gap is getting closer and closer, which to me will create transformation and become the new creatures that we're meant to be.
Yeah.
Now, I do, the question that I ask, because it seems to me in my mind, I got a picture that the The gray in between everybody is disappearing, and it's either you're living your truth or you're living a lie. And if you're living a lie, you're going to help those that are living their truth become more truthful, and those that are living their truth are going to help shine the light for those that are in the lie. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that we do live, I think that the world is upgrading, and I think that it's designed to. We're moving into an era that has more access to light and more access to higher levels of love than we've ever seen before. That's what's at the threshold right now. So you can either choose into the system of more love, more truth, more light, or you can choose into the other system, because you're right, the gap is widening. So to the degree that you want to step into higher levels of light and truth and love, then buckle up, because that's to the same degree that darkness will meet you there to resist you, because there has to be some overcoming. There has to be resistance in order for us to overcome and choose and step in. So yeah, I agree. But as this earth is being more exposed to greater levels of love, greater levels of light, greater levels of truth than we've ever seen before, our reality is starting to shift. And what happens is truth has a way, just like the weeds coming up out of the dirt, or seeds that are planted coming up out of the dirt, truth always has a way of finding itself to the surface. And that's what's happening in the world right now, isn't it? Secrets are being revealed, lies are being exposed. The truth always wants to come to the surface, and it always will. It always, always, always will find its way to the surface. You cannot conceal truths. You cannot hide truth. It will always find its way up. Like everything in the desert is constantly in a state of seeking for its own survival, and that's what truth does. We have a couple of other comments here. Shuri says, unplugging from the collective consciousness, sovereignty. Yes. I'm assuming that was the response to what do you do on a daily basis to help you come into this state of neutrality. Anne Fernandez says, visualize and blast them with love. It's amazing to see the changes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is definitely one way that we can step into higher levels of consciousness. That's one way that we can help others do the same thing. Katie says, those who are at the low level is that they are not ready to go to the higher frequency. Yeah, and everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's on their own timeline. And that's okay. Not ready to go to the higher frequency. I too was in that place, and it's all about making a choice to go with and make some changes in my life, which brought me to my higher self. And I feel that a lot of things became more enlightenment. I'm guessing enlightened in my heart and mind. Yeah. And so it is a choice. It is definitely a choice. We all have the choice to either level up or stay where we're at and continue to progress at that level. But everyone deserves to be at the level that they're at, right? Without us putting them into a place of shame or guilt or resisting them. So I want to reiterate again, we're talking about these 8 different things that you can do to help move you into a state of neutrality so that you can be more spiritually sovereign. Thing number 1 was slow down. Thing number 2 was cutting negativity out of your life. Thing number 3 was make a daily habit, make it a daily practice to do something to help calm you down, to go within, to slow the breath, to do some meditation, whatever it is for you. People mentioned breathing. 4, bring more positivity into your life. I think we did touch on that a little bit. If you notice that there's somebody in your life who's really positive and upbeat and kind, and you just feel good around them, take them to lunch, spend time with those people, and maybe cut back a little bit on those in your life who are complaining more or a little bit more negative or not trying, but they do draw you down. See if you can bring more balance in your life by intentionally spending time with the people who do bring you into that elevated state of positivity. It's important. It matters. It's how you're going to get through what we're all going through in the world right now. Okay, number 5. You must learn to think and act and discern for yourself. Charisse mentioned sovereignty in there. And learning how to discern for yourself comes with that. You're not going to be able to do that, though, unless you have some level of self-awareness, unless you have an understanding or a knowing of who you really are and what you're about. So develop that. Find ways, latch on to people, find people who can help teach you the tools for developing greater levels of self-awareness, because that matters. So I think I already said this, but your relationship with God stands on the foundation of your own relationship and your own self-awareness. So as you begin to develop that, as you begin to understand how to discern, how to let your heart lead you, how to let your heart govern, and how to let truth lead you into your own life, then you'll be able to practice that. But it's going to come, self-awareness and discernment and the inner knowing of yourself is going to come on the heels of having some sort of a daily practice where you can tap in every day and be connected to yourself every day. It's going to help improve your connection to God. It's going to help improve your connection to other people, especially, maybe people who need the light that you have to share so that they can level up. And that's how we'll help one another. Thing number 6, or step number 6, is no more going along to get along in the world. To some degree, at least, I feel that that's an evil philosophy, going along just to get along. It's evil based on those who are perpetuating the manipulation and the mind control and getting you to go along with something that maybe doesn't feel right in your heart. And it's also evil on the level of the person who's buying in, who's willfully choosing to dumb down, there's that word again, Pammy, to dumb down their higher self just so that they can be accepted in the culture, in the community, in the groupthink. I don't think that's a good way to live your life. I don't think the fruits will bear, I don't think it will bear good fruits to live your life that way. So no more going along to get along. Follow your heart, listen to your soul, listen to the guidance that comes to you from the divine when you are connected to your higher self, and learn to act in that space. Even if it's scary, even if you have to be pulled out of the box, even if you go against the grain, even if people are pointing the finger at you and saying that you're crazy or you're wrong, even if, be willing to honor yourself. Yourself has the ability to govern and to guide you. So learn to tap into that and honor it. Katie says, this reminds me of last class, what we cling to. I believe through his anointing, he is increasing the vibration of his people, forcing us to face these lower vibrations, release them. Yes, it is a catalyst for us. We have to face these lower level vibrations and emotions and beliefs, and we have to choose to either release them or step into a higher truth. She says, and through free will, we can cling to them in fear, or we can release in truth and love. As I put my hands on people through therapeutic lymphatic drainage, I blast Thank you, Anne. People with love and intent and vibration. And my clients are coming into their own truths, and watching these lower level vibrations come to the surface is miraculous. Thank you, God. Yes, it is miraculous. And every single one of you is a healer in your own life, every single one of you. And you don't even necessarily have to place hands on somebody to heal them. You can just be standing in your own sovereignty, expressing higher levels of love and light and truth out into the world, and it will spill out into the world onto people, helping them raise their frequency. They'll feel better, and they won't even really know why it's happening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it came through you or from you or facilitated by you. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start learning to become the sun in the world by shining more light, more truth, more love. And you're not going to be able to do that until you develop this ability to be neutral in life, so that you can learn what sovereignty looks like. Sovereign beings shine their light out into the world. They don't absorb everybody's darkness. That's what they do. Karen says, everyone is a healer. I love that. I always felt that I'm a healer. Thank you. Yes, you are. By just becoming self-aware, going within, overcoming your false limiting beliefs and your lower level emotions, and rising above and choosing into higher levels of vibration, like joy and bliss and love and gratitude and forgiveness, all those good feelings. That's you. That is who you are, those good feelings. So when you're not feeling those good feelings, it's because you are connected more to the ego self than you are your higher self. And so it's just a matter of changing your perspective, learning to calm what's coming up inside of you, learning to calm that, but also learning when you step into that place of neutrality, you have a choice in there. Step number 7. Here we go. You are responsible for the infinite perspective that you choose to buy into. You are responsible for the infinite perspective that your higher self can guide you into. You're responsible for that. You're also responsible to recognize that there is no threat to an infinite being. And that is who you are. That's your higher self. That's how you learn how to tap into the higher, deeper levels of your being, is by learning, what does it feel like to be me? And when you tap into your higher self, you're actually tapping into energies that you know are infinite. From that place, that new identity within you, that part of you cannot die. It can't lose anything. Nothing can be taken from it, because it is everything. You are the love you think you need. You are the respect you think you want. You are the safety that you're looking for, the stability that you're looking for. It's not the world's job to gift you those things through things. It's your job to go within and learn that those feelings are within you already, and it is a part of your true eternal identity. So when you learn to tap into the true identity, not the ego aspect of your identity, which is in a constant state of panic and fear and chaos and fear of loss and anxiety and stress, that's ego. So when you learn how to step away from the ego, drop down out of your mind, drop down into your body, connect with your higher self, it will always feel safe. It will always feel good. There will always be enough love for you in there, because you start to realize, oh, I am the love that I'm looking for. It doesn't need to be gifted to me by somebody else. I am it. That's your I am. That's what it means to stand in your I am. So that is principle number 7. You're responsible for your own level of awareness of who you really are. The truth of your higher self. Principle number 8 has everything to do with maintaining this level of neutrality so that you can operate as a sovereign being in the world and in your life, and walk through life going, okay, it is what it is, and I'm okay. Yeah, buildings are burning down, earthquakes are happening, people are dying of starvation, things are, all these things, right? All the stuff that's going on is just noise. It's activities that are taking place, but they don't define you, and they cannot limit you because you're an infinite being. What do you have to worry about? What do you have to worry about? If death isn't real, and loss and lack and limitation and separation isn't real, those things are just false narratives put upon us through the ego, because the ego is afraid of the temporary, the finite, but your higher self is infinite. What do you possibly have to freak out about or stress out about or worry about? So that's where I want to take you today. So everybody go ahead. Oh, we've got one more comment here I'm going to touch on. Then I'm going to take you into a meditation. Luana says, I have noticed that those who radiate love draw others to them. Love from within radiates outward to all those around us. Good point. That's a good point. Love without judgment. When we love, we become joyful. Oh, look at the wisdom flowing out of you guys. It radiates and shines all around us. That is a true point. That is truth. I can feel the truth of that resonating, what you just said. So yeah, love is the healing agent. It is the medium through which we connect to our higher selves through self-love, and through which we connect to God through godly love. And then it's what allows that love and light and truth to spill out of us onto the world around us. And you literally can and do change the world by being you. So let's tap in. Okay, everybody just slow your breath down a little bit. We're going to go into a state of neutrality, and we're going to calm our bodies down. We're going to calm our thinking down. And breathe. Slow the breath. Deep inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, when you breathe out, let's drop our shoulders a little bit and just soften some of that tension, resistance. Drop your shoulders on the exhale and sink down into your body. I'm going to invite you to allow your awareness to just rest at the base of the spine. Just like if you were a grain of salt or sand and I dropped you into a glass of water, you would sink down slowly until you rest at the bottom of the glass, the base of the spine, the pelvic floor. Just rest into your body and breathe slowly. Make that breath intentional, make it nice and deep. Relax your shoulders on the exhale, and as you breathe out, relax your face, your eyes, your jaw, your neck, your throat, your tongue. Keep breathing. A couple more deep, good, rich inhales and exhales. Keep your attention inside your body. Let's pretend that there's an imaginary line, a beam of light going through the center of your body. Can you just put your focus and your attention on that beam of light that goes all the way from the top of your crown, through the center of you to the base of the spine, through the centers of your legs and out the centers of your feet? That's your midline. So really, technically, anywhere you put your focus and your awareness on the entirety of that line, your center, or a specific point on that line, your center, is fine. So if you want to just be aware of the entire center of your being, this is your higher self. So I want you to just put awareness on who are you? Who is breathing? Who's making those muscles move with the breath? Who's looking through the eye holes of your eyes and observing the world around you? Who is inside of this physical body that is really just an activity that's taking place with matter? The real you is not your body. It's not your cells. It's not the dirt and water and materials that make up your body. The real you is the being, the infinite being, eternal being that is within, that's animating your body, that is shining through your body. Look at the light that comes out of your eyes when you look in the mirror. Look within, go within. Put your awareness on that being that is you. And I want you to say the words, I am. Just lift yourself nice and tall. Say the words, I am. One more time, I am. As you breathe into that space behind your eyes, in the back of your throat, in the center of your body, that being that is illuminating the cells, that is the divine intelligence of your cells, that part of you is infinite expanse. And if I can, I want to share your picture, Pammy, again. So I'm going to add you. Look at this image, this imagery of the light coming through the trees here. As you look at that image, I want you to imagine that kind of light is what shines through the material of your body. It shines through you, through your eyes, through your ears, through your intellect, through your organs, through your body. So on the exhale, I'm just going to invite you to just go ahead and let go. I want you to release tension. Look for where you're storing tightness in the body, resistance in the body, and let it go. And expand that light out. So with the breath now on the exhale, can you just allow your awareness to get bigger and brighter and more expanded and more expanded? Can you fill up the room that you're in with your presence, your light, your essence? Can you do that? Breathe in, breathe out. And just notice how much better you feel when you're inside, when you go within, and when you allow that withinness, your beingness, to spread out, just like this light that you're seeing in Pammy's image here. Spread out. Be the sun. Be. And so as you do that, I want you to feel with your body, I want you to feel what it feels like to be that expansive, to take up more space in front of you, behind you. The image is not showing. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can make it. You guys are not seeing the icon for Pammy's, I don't know what you call it. Her camera is not on. So because her camera is not on.
Screensaver.
Yeah, screensaver. There you go. Oh, there you are.
All I see is you.
Yeah. Now we see you. Now, so turn your camera off again, Pammy, and let's see. There we go. There's your screensaver. Can you guys see that?
I think she has to talk in order for us to see it.
Oh, that might be true.
What is that I got to do?
Can you
Hey,
guys
Janet.
see?
You can also put a pin on her and then pin her
Yeah, I did.
for
It's
her.
pinned.
I did see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she is pinned right now.
Okay, good.
Okay, so just look at that image. What I want for you guys to get out of that experience was, I want you to feel in your body what it feels like to just shine, as if you are the sunlight, as if you are that expansive, as if you are grounded, rooted, centered in the center of your beingness, but that expansive. What does that feel like? And I want you to look for that feeling. Can you guys describe, we're pretty much done with our class and with our experience, but can you just describe for me, what does it feel like when you go within, you tap into the inner levels of your beingness, and you breathe and soften and let go? Describe for me what neutrality feels like for you. Drop it into the chat, or you can unmute yourself. I don't care. Someone says, I don't know whose this is, but it just says iPhone. I found you on Facebook about 4 years ago. Wow. And you're still here. That's amazing. I had no idea how much my life would change. Learning from you has been incredible. I used to be a news junkie. I was immersed in politics. I felt a lot of negativity. I also saw things through victimhood. I stopped listening to the news cold turkey. I decided to take time to go within every day. I choose to live in forgiveness and love. I feel like I live in a different world. Thank you so much, Janet. Okay, who is this? It just says iPhone, so I don't know whose phone it is. But share that. What a wonderful testimonial that is of the fact that going within, tapping into your higher self is a powerful way to live your life. Oh, Loretta, yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You know what, if it's okay with you, I'm going to save, can I save your words and share that with people? Because I think it's important to note what happens to people when you shift your focus, when you learn to tap in, when you learn to connect with your higher self. It changes your life. And I love that you stop listening to the news cold turkey. Bambi says it feels peaceful. Carla says she feels hope. Awesome, I love that. Edith says, today it makes me feel happy. Other times I felt peace. Sorry, it's not letting me read that for some reason. Total peace, okay. I don't know how to change my name on here. Well, that's okay. Katie says she feels content with the spirit. Yeah, cool. That's really, really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So it's not hard to go into a state of neutrality. When you intentionally choose to put yourself into this state of connected, inner connectedness with your higher self, it does feel neutral in there. And when you're in a place of neutrality, now you can choose. You choose where you're going. You don't have to be a victim to your life or your fear or anything else. Literally, when you learn to identify with the eternal, infinite nature of the light that is within you, and that becomes your new identity. Bombs could be going off all around you. You could be walking through a minefield and still occupy this conscious awareness that it is what it is, and I'm okay. I have nothing to lose. I cannot die. There is no threat. And I think that these are important tools for us to learn how to develop as we move forward in a world that is very uncertain and very unstable, and there is a lot of fear and sadness being perpetuated, but we don't have to participate in that world. We can go within and create a new world based on where we're choosing to vibrate. And the higher up you go in those levels of consciousness, the better it feels, the more stable you are, the more resolute you become, the more nothing can shake you. Nothing can shake you because you recognize there is no threat to you as a being. Toby Lynn says, I second what Loretta said. What you have taught me has changed my life and transformed my self-perception. Trauma has been released and blessings of my sovereignty has been restored. Thank you, Janet. Wow, you guys, thank you. Thank you for doing your inner work. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking these higher vibrations and frequencies and spreading them out into the world, because one little light, my one little sovereign light can light up the world. And so can yours. And so don't ever forget that. Not one light on this planet is more important than another light. But lights can be brighter or dimmer based on how you're choosing to perceive and how you're choosing to interpret and how you're choosing to move forward in your journey. So my hope and my desire and my faith is that as you learn to step more and deeper into this connected state with your higher self, you will change the world. And together, man, 30 people are on here. 30 people all collectively shining as bright as they are. That can change the world. I guarantee it. So we can do this. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your kind words. Wow, I'm humbled by it, and I'm just in a state of gratitude. So I appreciate every one of you. Ashley says, Loretta, you would change your name at the beginning of the class when you join, you can change your name. Yeah, it should show up in your iPhone. You can also actually go into the app. If you're on your iPhone, you can go into the app, the Zoom app. You could Google it. How about do that? You could just Google it and you can change your name in there. Going into the app, into settings. And Fernandez says, perfect session. Katie says, thank you, Janet. Yes, thank you guys for being here. This was an absolutely amazing session, amazing opportunity to spend time with you guys. Hopefully you'll go out into the day and shine as bright as you are out into the world. Have a blessed rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.